Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Chief Tyak. We're here today from the Piscataway Indian Nation. 400 years ago, we welcomed people to our lands and to our shores. And it's 400 years later, and our hands are still extended in friendship to welcome everyone here today. Where we are located, many people know it as Piscataway National Park. We are in the ancestral homelands of the Piscataway people. We are at the principal village that was known as Maoyonne, our seat of government. Like Minneapolis is the seat of government for the state of Maryland. Washington, D.C. being the seat of government for the United States. We are at the seat of government of the Piscataway people. Our people have lived here on this land for 15,000 years. For 15,000 years, What is known today as the Chesapeake Bay area has been our home, and we are still here, and we have survived as a people. Each time that we touch this soil, we are touching the generations of the generations of the generations before us. In 1978, our 27th generation of hereditary chiefs passed away to the spirit world. One of his last and final wishes, he wanted to be buried in the ancestral homelands of our people. In 1979, the United States Congress passed a federal bill to allow Chief Turkey Tayac, our 27th generation, to be buried in the ossuary area. He was the first American Indian to be buried on what is known as federal parklands. It was a very historical moment for American Indian people. It was a very historical moment for all citizens of the United States. And it is part of our history as Marylanders today, in which we should all be proud of. Where we are located, there was a period in time of our history that it was not socially acceptable to be a Piscataway Indian. It was not socially acceptable to be an American Indian. In 1970, where we are located at today, at the principal capital village, a movement began, a revitalization that we as American Indian people can stand with pride and with dignity and hold our heads high, for we have lived and survived. Even though there was policies of assimilation and genocide perpetuated on us. We are still here today.
Yes, sir.
We are asking that all county, state, politicians, the Maryland State Governor, the Maryland legislation, to support. We are working for almost 100 years. Our ancestors have been held captive in storage facilities. We want to see our ancestors come back home. We want to see our people to be able to have the opportunity to fulfill their original instructions, to go back to the Mother Earth. And when that happens, we want to see the unification of all Native people here in this state. We're standing here today in a line holding hands together. This line is to represent unity. We have all come together as Piscataway people today. We've all came together as American Indian people today. And we want to show United States, we want to show Maryland that we are a united front, that we are a united voice. We are asking that our tribal leaders to come up, if they're not there, to join in. Mr. Keith Colston to come in. We want to hold hands now to represent unification of our people.
Yes, sir.
represents unity. This is unity for Piscataway people. This is unity of who we are as American Indians.
Just forward. Okay. Thank you. Wanishi. Thank you. My ancestral language. Dule Neptum, Alipa, Hikayak, Niskeo, Yuka Nukwe, Nepe, Wanishi. Thank you all for being here today. We are glad to see you here. I would not be here if it was not for my elders or my ancestors who have paved the way. And I thank them. As the day began with the rising sun, we asked the Creator to help guide our steps, give us courage so that we're able to see the truth and hope through this circle of life and on the path that we have chosen, so that we may do so with honesty, dignity, and respect. It has been said, before you can travel forward or even truly understand why we're here today, one must at least understand its past. You see, history is our mechanism to connect our past to the present. It provides us with a sense of purpose for who we are, a sense of being. Our worlds have once again converged, and it is here we have the opportunity for all Marylanders, all Piscataways, to attain the inevitable knowledge. Today we are here collectively to celebrate our new Southern Maryland National Heritage Area, our history. To go from a concept to boots on ground, to knocking on doors, and actually having a signed congressional law by the president as well in less than 5 years, to me is astounding. And I would be remiss to not sit here or stand here and acknowledge Miss Lucille Walker. For her tenacity, persistence, and unwavering vision has provided us the path of reason why we're here today. Yes, a national heritage area, not a state, not a local program. However, the beauty is this: the state and all local governments come along anyways. Unbelievable. I am truly honored to be here on this stage today with all the distinguished guests and speakers. The designation of Southern Maryland National Heritage Area is a positive step in the right direction and will put into motion an extremely important, long overdue effort to record, document, protect, and raise awareness about our history from a cultural perspective that will convey the proud heritage of our Piscataway people. Yes, sir. The Piscataway Kanoi people are excited to have the opportunity to invert, as I may dare say, invert the narrative of Maryland's colonial story and to tell our story through the eyes of Piscataways, to speak of our past, the resilience and the purpose of the people who have continuously overcome challenges throughout many decades, resulting in changes that dramatically affected the ways of our people. Yes, Maryland is the first to provide the right for religious freedom. Yes, sir. But to who? Yes, right. And who? And at what cost? And who shall pay that cost? It is well known that our ancestors have lived here for over 15,000 years, and you cannot walk or touch any earth in this area that my ancestors have not already previously done so. Yes, we're here today at the capital of Maoyonne. People known it for centuries. And yes, that may be history long ago, but just a recent history. As Mr. Tyak, Chief Tyak had just spoken, Turkey Tyak is laid to rest and hopefully into perpetuity with our ancestors. However, I am not here to speak to you today of just our past. I am here to present the beginning way to move us into tomorrow. To speak today with hope and excitement, vision of the future. To assure my culture has at least a path for the next 7 generations. To create not just avenues, but partnerships that has enduring life cycles through the county, through the states, and through the federal government. To create collaborative programs to enhance our rich history. And to expand off of the coalition, such as UTAP, to have state legislative body work directly with the governor's office to ensure the tribal government and the state government has a government-to-government relationship. To have our ancestors brought back home is something there that is extremely important to us as Piscataway. So they may be able to complete their natural right, their journey of going from ashes to ashes and dust to dust. To build on that coalition only enhances our governing structure. In building, we can ensure that our institutional knowledge continues through this administration, Governor, and the next, as well as ours as well. So in closing, I would like to say thank you, Mother Earth, for all that you have given us. Show us what is right. Ensure that today, what we do will have a ripple effect for tomorrow. Wanishi.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I'm going to be cutting my welcome short because I really can't improve on Chairman Gray or Chief Tyak's welcome to everyone. But I have to start by saying, welcome to your Southern Maryland National Heritage Area, everyone! You have heard so much of the reason why, and as I said, I'm going to flip through mine quickly, but I just want you to know, you are standing at a foundation story for our nation. We have heard this mentioned in Chairman Gray's remarks, but I need to make it even a bigger thought. It was here in Southern Maryland, in Maryland, for the first time ever in the Western world, that any type of religious freedom was put into law. Any type of religious toleration, not just in America, but in the entire Western world. And it was here. And that's remarkable. We are a land of many firsts, and of course, first people. I cannot elaborate on anything said this morning except to applaud it. We are also the first time that anyone of African descent ever served in a legislature in America. That was Matthias de Sousa, 1641. The first time a woman ever petitioned for the right to vote Margaret Brent, 1648, and many, many more firsts. We acknowledge that it's a complex history. We acknowledge that there were freedoms gained, freedoms lost, freedoms fought for, and that is a national story. In Southern Maryland, we have a UNESCO slave site of remembrance in testimony to that resistance, liberty, and heritage. We are crisscrossed by national trails. We have 1,000 miles of shoreline, agriculture, maritime history, essential woven through who we are. But it's not all ancient history. We're also where the first astronauts trained, and we remain a center of innovation and discovery. We have a national marine sanctuary at Mallows Bay, Potomac River, the first national sanctuary on a river with over 300 years of American shipbuilding as part of its history. Today, descendants of those enslaved and descendants of those who did the enslaving are having conversations, are coming together. This is a new dialogue, and it's profound. And we have to give a nod to Historic Southerly on this and all the work they're doing on common ground. And as I said, I'm cutting a lot of it short because I really can't elaborate on what was said already, but I just have to say, this is a vital story. And although some of the stories are hard, very difficult, they're important to know because there's so much beauty, so much to be proud of. So in the end, all of this that we're doing today, it's about the human spirit, and that's a story worth telling. Now, you didn't come here to listen to me. I have the profound honor to introduce our governor. And I'm trying to keep his bio short, or we'd be here all afternoon. Governor Moore is our 63rd governor, and he is Maryland's first black governor in the state's history. And is just the third African American ever elected as governor in the history of the United States. Am I on? Okay. After attending Valley Forge Military Academy and College, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Afterward, he went on to earn his bachelor's degree in international relations and economics at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. While at Johns Hopkins, Wes Moore was the first Black Rhodes Scholar in the history of Johns Hopkins. As a Rhodes Scholar, he earned a master's in international relations from Wolfson College at Oxford. I have Oxford stories to swap with him later. In 2005, Moore deployed to Afghanistan as a captain with the 82nd Airborne Division, leading soldiers in combat. Immediately after returning home, Moore served as a White House Fellow, advising on issues of national security, international relations. And in 2010, he wrote The Other Wes Moore, a story about the fragile nature of opportunity in America, which became a New York Times bestseller. He went on to write a lot of other bestsellers. He's an entrepreneur, a businessman, a family man. I've seen pictures. He has 2 adorable children. It is my great pleasure to introduce our governor, Governor Moore.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you and good morning.
Good morning.
What a blessed morning.
Yes, sir.
What a blessed morning.
Yes, sir.
To Lucille, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your kindness. It was said before, but I will say it again. today had your fingerprints all over it, and we are better because of it. Bless you and thank you so much. It really is a true joy to be here with each and every one of you, and humbling. From all of our partners of Destination Southern Maryland who are here today, to everybody who came out to celebrate the fact that we stand on sacred ground. We stand on hallowed ground. We stand on the ground that for thousands of years people watched and they walked. People led and they fought. And people hoped and believed in a moment like today. They believed that a moment like today would come, but they knew that faith without works is dead. That the work is required. And that if we can do the work collectively, that we can stand here and have a day where we can celebrate all of those who came before us. And celebrate all of those who will come after us. And know that in unity, we march forward. We are thankful to the Piscataway tribe. We are thankful for the honor song. We're thankful for the chance to celebrate one of the many things that makes this state so special. Because one of the many things that makes this state so special is this place, is this history. It's the Piscataway tribe, it's this people. One of the things that makes our state so worth fighting for is the fact that there were people who came before us who were fighting for today and who believed in today. To all the people who made that happen, bless you and thank you. To all of my partners in the work, our elected officials, our state leaders, my amazing partner, our Lieutenant Governor, Aruna Miller. And by the way, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the fact that in our Lieutenant Governor, we also have the first immigrant ever elected to statewide office in the history of the state of Maryland, and the first woman of color to hold the title of Lieutenant Governor. With our federal partners, I'm so grateful to see you, Madam Assistant Secretary. Bless you and thank you. And to all of us who are here to celebrate the fact that people have been on this land for thousands of years. Long before there was a Maryland. Long before there was a United States. Long before the first European settlers arrived here in the 1600s. We celebrate a history and a heritage and a culture that frankly is the rock that we all stand on. The foundation that we all lift off of. Today is a celebration of what our foundation looks like. Today we gather to celebrate the history of the Piscataway and the history of all communities that have a shared and rich heritage here in Southern Maryland. And I'm grateful for the leadership that we've seen also from our federal delegation. Our friend Senator Cardin and Senator Van Hollen, our leader Steny Hoyer, and this new Southern Maryland National Heritage Area, because this is the moment that we will ensure and preserve the shared stories of Southern Maryland that have defined our past and that will also shape our future. The stories of public servants who banded together to make Southern Maryland the first place in the Western world where religious freedom was codified into law, but also a place that we know that even despite laws changing, we as a society still had work to do. That we still had to make sure that we understood and honored the unevenness of history. Because when we do that, it'll give us a better path to a straightened future. The stories that we need to learn and understand, like Thomas Stone, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, who was born and raised here in Charles County in the 1740s. Stories like Harriet Elizabeth Brown, who fought and won the first major legal case of the civil rights movement against the Calvert County Board of Education. But it's also the story of the Piscataway people. The proud history of the Piscataway people. Who, despite losing control of their ancestral lands, and the stories of tens of thousands of enslaved people who lived here and died here, never knowing their own freedom, but willing to fight for the freedom of others. So while Southern Maryland has a complicated history, and while Maryland has a complicated history, and while the United States has a complicated history, we know that we learned that history and we celebrate that history, not to diminish anyone, but to empower everyone. And that's what this new Southern Maryland Heritage Area will help us do. It's not just going to only help us to bring millions of dollars in federal funds to Maryland over the next 10 years, so we can protect natural assets of the region, so we can develop new educational programs and raise awareness of the rich history here. But it also is going to bring things like more tourism into an area, and it will always also help us to celebrate a history that needs to be understood and celebrated. And truthfully, that's especially important right now because we are all watching what's happening in other areas. A systemic erasure of history that's happening across the country. Where, let's be clear and let's speak clearly, we look around and we are seeing things like books being banned and people deciding what people could and should read. We are seeing teachers who are being censured by school boards. We are seeing curriculum with truth being taken out. When we eliminate history, we don't just promote ignorance. We're diminishing a strength and a pride of a people. You know, we listened to this wonderful, wonderful honor song. This performance by the Piscataway Nation, honoring not just a presence, but honoring a past. But it wasn't just beautiful, it was powerful. And it served as an important reminder and a remembrance. When we celebrate history, when we celebrate culture, we celebrate the power of our ancestors and the power that they hope that we have within ourselves. And so when we're watching people who are literally banning books and muzzling educators, they say it's never to prevent discomfort and guilt, but we know that's not true. It has nothing to do with discomfort or guilt. This is not about not wanting people to feel bad. This is a fear of people understanding their actual power. That's what's happening. Because if you know your history, there is nothing about the future that makes you flinch. When you know your history, there's nothing about the future that's intimidating. When you know your history, you know the shoulders you stand on, you know the firm ground that you walk on, and you know that nothing is impossible because everyone who came before you already fought for you to make today happen. So here in Maryland, here in Southern Maryland, we celebrate our history. We embrace our history. All of it. Good, bad, painful, and empowering. We learn our history. And we honor our ancestors. Not only because those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it, but because those who do not learn their past will never know their power. And so that's the message we share today, and that's the message we receive from up high.
Amen.
That's the message we hear loud and clear. That this needs to be a place that embraces who we are. What makes us so special? What makes this land worth honoring? So I thank you for the honor to be able to join together to preserve our history.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
I say, praise the Lord to everybody.
Yes. Amen.
Amen.
That we join together in an effort to build a society and an economy that's going to work for everybody and not just some.
Yes.
That we join together to build a state where we can leave no one behind. That's what today is about. That's what this heritage site will do. And so, as I close, I humbly want to take your lead, Chief, where you asked the Piscataway Nation, Piscataway tribe to join hands to honor the ancestor.
Yes.
I would ask for all of us to join hands.
Yes.
I would ask for all of us to be able to join hands.
Okay? In these troubled times, you get a little shaky. Okay. You got a lot of faith in us, don't you? You got a lot of faith.
And I would ask all of us to join hands in a celebration of those who came before us, in an honoring of those who will come after us, that we know that we come from a higher power who will protect us,
Yes.
that we stand here in a celebration of what makes this place so special and what makes this place so right, that we stand in unity, that we stand undeterred, that we stand unafraid, that we stand with our heads high and our backs straight and unbowed. Because here, we look forward to our future because we understand our past. Here,
Absolutely.
Amen.
we honor our future because we're empowered by our past.
Amen.
And here, we stand here lifted up because we stand on rocks that are higher than I, and we stand on shoulders that are
Yes.
providing our shade.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We're thankful for our history. We're thankful for the Piscataway tribe.
Yes.
Yes.
And we are thankful that in this moment, we stand united forevermore. Bless you all, and thank you so much for having us here today. Thank you so much.
I know we have more to go, but some of us probably feel like, okay, we're good now. I'm giving a pause for meet and greet for a second. Don't pause too much because you have a treat coming up.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We're going to let folks settle down just a little bit because I know I'm still on 8 clouds after that, at least 8, 9, 20. We have a very special group who have traveled a long way to come here this morning. They are here because the next generation is essential to everything we do.
Amen.
We're doing this for the next generation, and they're here in force. I want to welcome the Spring Ridge Middle School Rhythm Club. Strap in, everybody. have another real pleasure of an introduction. The National Heritage Area Program is housed within the Department of Interior under the National Park Service. We are very pleased to honor that connection by launching today at Piscataway Park, which is a National Park Service site. It is a pleasure to have with us today the United States Department of Interior Assistant Secretary for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, Ms. Shannon Estenas. And I hope I'm not absolutely murdering your name. Okay, good. Assistant Secretary was sworn into her current position in July of 2021. Prior to joining the Biden-Harris administration, she was the Chief Operating Officer of the Everglades Foundation. Previously, the Assistant Secretary served as the Department of the Interior's Director of Everglades Restoration Initiatives and Executive Director of the South Florida Ecosystem Restoration Task Force. The Assistant Secretary's career in conservation includes roles with the World Wildlife Fund, National Parks Conservation Association, appointments by 3 Florida governors, including to the Governor Board of the South Florida Water Management, and the Assistant Secretary holds degrees in International Affairs, Civil Engineering from Florida State University, and we are just so tickled she can join us today. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. Let me just say I am in the unenviable position of following the governor's beautiful remarks. So please take pity on me for that reason alone. Let me say on behalf of the U.S. Department of the Interior, what a tremendous honor it is to be with you here today on the ancestral homelands of the Piscataway people, to join you, Governor, you, Lieutenant Governor, Chief, Mr. Chairman, Lucille. It's wonderful to be with all of you. I want to express my gratitude for the honor song this morning. You know, the joy that I already felt before we got here was it's solidified by beginning our gathering in a spiritually right way and good way. So thank you. I also want to thank these young musicians for a tremendous performance. So much joy. You are so talented. Thank you. So it's my job today to talk in a little bit more detail about this thing that you all have done, this amazing accomplishment that you have achieved for your community and for the great state of Maryland. Let me just say a few words about National Historic Areas. They are grassroots, community-driven approaches to heritage conservation and economic development. They are public-private partnerships that support, preserve, promote, conserve, and celebrate our nation's histories, its cultures, its people and places, and to tell a more complete story of America. The public-private partnership model furthers the mission of the National Park Service by fostering stewardship and telling national stories that celebrate our shared heritage. On January 5th, 2023, President Biden signed the National Heritage Areas Act, recognizing NHAs as a system and establishing a framework for the National Park Service's role in administering this program. The National Park Service will be providing technical, financial, and programmatic support to your new National Heritage Area. The Park Service distributes, for example, Heritage Partnership Program funds to national heritage areas. So what do National Heritage Areas do? Let's talk a little bit about that. So there are 62 congressionally designated heritage areas in 36 states and territories. There are currently, and I want you to know this so that you can appreciate your achievement, there are currently more than 30 areas across the country that are currently pursuing NHA designation. In 2022, NHAs leveraged, and I just want to hit some numbers here so that you again fully appreciate as you look out into the future the possibilities here. $75 million in leveraged funding and in-kind support to carry heritage projects and programs, which of course greatly increases the impact of the more than $26 million of federal funding that flows into this program. So your leveraging opportunity here is tremendous. And just by judging by the energy in this room, in this gathering, I think you're going to maximize that leveraging opportunity. NHA has engaged 2,600 formal partnerships, 4,200 informal partnerships in heritage area activities, benefited from 28,000 volunteers who have contributed more than 300,000 volunteer hours, which by itself is almost a $10 million value. I mean, these are the kinds of resources that an NHA can bring to a region and a community. The Southern Maryland National Heritage Area was named in the National Heritage Areas Act of 2023. It was established just recently, and it recognized the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland as the management coordinating entity. The Southern Maryland National Heritage Area will bring together many partners and resources to promote heritage tourism, conserve natural landscapes, and enhance the local economy. Southern Maryland NHA is one of 26 in the Northeast, so you join a strong network of know-how and folks who know how to do this work and to make the most of it. As part of the designation, here's let's talk about next steps. So as part of this designation over the next 3 years, the Southern Maryland NHA will be developing a comprehensive management plan for the heritage area. We'll be working closely with the National Park Service and stakeholders and communities to develop this plan. This is the place where we outline our long-term goals for the area. What policies are we going to be developing? We're going to be looking for mid and long-range goals that we're going to set for ourselves, right? What is our community vision for this National Heritage Area? It'll include a business plan, it'll include an interpretive plan, interpret the incredible history of this place. So there's a lot. We celebrate both what we have accomplished and we kick off the work that is ahead of us, which is considerable but so exciting. The National Park Service looks forward to being your partner and to making the absolute most, to carrying the energy that I feel and that you all feel today, to carrying it forward into a bright future for Southern Maryland and interpreting the incredible history, the rich cultural heritage of this area. I congratulate each and every one of you for everything you've done to make this happen for your community, and I wish you the very, very best in the years ahead. Thank you.
Next, it is very special for me to introduce the Lieutenant Governor, who has already been introduced by the Governor. We have had a number of conversations about this initiative, even before they were elected. So it is a treat to have her here today. Lieutenant Governor Miller, as Governor Moore has noted, is only the second woman to serve as Lieutenant Governor and first woman of color and first immigrant elected to statewide office in Maryland. Born in India, the Lieutenant Governor and her family immigrated to the United States when she was 7 years old. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from the Missouri University of Science and Technology and became a Civil and Transportation Engineer in Montgomery County's Department of Transportation, where she worked to improve the safety of the public and alleviate traffic by creating equitable access to transportation throughout the county. For 25 years, she oversaw programs that advanced access to schools and employment centers and made community facilities safer. From 2010 to 2018, she represented District 15 in the Maryland House of Delegates, where she was a champion for working families, survivors of domestic abuse, and the environment. Our Lieutenant Governor.
So good afternoon, everyone. Secretary Essena, the only thing worse than following Governor Moore having to speak is when you gotta be the one that has to say, Governor Moore has to leave now, and then you gotta speak. Usually the whole room clears. Governor Moore, I believe you have another engagement, so you're gonna have to leave now. All right.
Let me give you a hug first.
Okay. Let me tell you, this has happened to me numerous times. Usually when he leaves, the entire room clears. So I would really love it if the rest of you just stay a little bit longer here. I'm Aruna Miller, Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, and I am thrilled to be joining all of you today in Southern Maryland, the home, the heart, and the soul of the Piscataway people. And I'm especially honored to be here today at the beautiful Piscataway Park for the auspicious occasion where Southern Maryland is officially designated as a National Heritage Area. But this didn't happen overnight or on its own. Preserving our history and not erasing it takes a great deal of perseverance, reflection, and foresight. Because sometimes historic preservation involves celebrating events, people, places, ideas that we are proud of. And other times, it involves recognizing moments in our history that are uneven with jagged edges, the moments that are deeply painful, the moments that have led to generational trauma. But this is why preserving history is critical. It's a chance to educate, illuminate the truths, reconcile, and begin a healing process for a more just future. It's an opportunity to right the wrongs. So today, as we celebrate Southern Maryland as a National Heritage Area, let me take a moment to thank the people who took on this extraordinary effort and made it happen. First, Lucille Walker. You all need to know just how persistent Lucille is. She reached out to me, as she said, during our campaign and told me this moment was going to take place. And then she reached out to me in February and told me to put it on my calendar to make sure that we would be here. So Lucille, we are so, so thankful for your passion and commitment. And of course, Chief Mark Taya. Thank you for your extraordinary leadership and your words of wisdom and the pain that the Piscataway people have felt for so many generations. Thank you for sharing this with all of us. And to Chairman Francis Gray, thank you very much as well for your extraordinary leadership. And just like the Assistant Secretary, turns out that Chief Gray is also an engineer like myself and the assistant. So good to know, Chief. And yes. And to all our federal, state, local elected officials that made this happen, and the entire Piscataway Indian Nation and Kanoi tribe. And thank you to everyone who's joined us today. And a great big shout out to the young people who performed earlier and to all who performed the beautiful, moving honor song. Southern Maryland is quite literally the birthplace of our state and boasts over 1,000 years of history. So many stories to tell, so many ways to expand our minds and touch our souls. It is here where religious freedom was codified into law for the first time in the entire Western world. And that is why today, Maryland is the most diverse state in the mid-Atlantic region, because people from all over the world come here with various religions and gods that they worship to because they feel welcome and included in this great state. And this is where it was here that the first woman ever petitioned for the right to vote, Margaret Brent, in 1648. And today, this is where the Maryland General Assembly boasts 80 women legislators representing 42% of the Maryland General Assembly. And we are thrilled to have the chair of the Legislative Women's Caucus right here from Southern Maryland, Delegate Edith Patterson. And it is here that the first person of African descent ever served in the legislature in 1641. And today, 382 years later, Maryland has elected its first black governor in the nation here. So thank you. I know that it was mentioned that Maryland elected its first black governor and the third black governor in the nation, but today, Governor Moore is the only elected black governor in the nation. So we can't have a just future without illuminating our past. So I want to thank all of you for being part of our past, present, and our future to create a more just world. Thank you.
As has been talked about already, becoming a national heritage area is actually quite difficult. It does require that little act of Congress, not easy at any time. It takes usually a decade or more to become a national heritage area, but this one really moved it fast. We got designated within 2 years, and that is a testament to you all, to the partnerships, and all of our legislators here today. I want to say thank you. The hard work of getting it through the congressional process was led by Senator Ben Cardin, Senator Chris Van Hollen, and by Congressman Steny Hoyer. We have their representatives here today, and we also have a video from Senator Van Hollen to represent the federal team Maryland. I would like to ask the representatives from Cardin, Van Hollen, and Hoyer's team to please stand. Thank you. Thank you. When the legislation passed the U.S. Congress, it was one of the most bipartisan pieces of legislation to pass that session. And when I look out and see all of you all here today, all of you who made this happen, I am so proud of our state. How we came all together, how we joined here to make this happen. And today, as I look out, I see national representatives, I see the National Park Service, I see a variety of amazing tribal members and elders. I see some of our state secretaries. I think I spied Secretary of Planning Flora. We also have Assistant Secretary here today from Commerce. We have Keith Colston, Commission on Indian Affairs, Chanel Compton, Commission on African American History and Culture. We have a number of state senators, and I have to call out Senator Jack Bailey, Senator Michael Jackson, Senator Arthur Ellis. We have delegates and past delegates, Delegate Edith Patterson, Delegate Brian Crosby, Delegate C.T. Wilson, Delegate Jazz Lewis, former delegates Rachel Jones, Susie Proctor. We have County Commissioners Thomasina Coates, Ralph Patterson, Reuben Collins, Buddy Hance, Eric Colvin, Mike Alderson. And we also have those who've given such support here with the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland, the Rural Maryland Council, the Maryland Department of Commerce. I have spied members of the Coalition of the Maryland Heritage Area, a number of directors here in the House. I see a number of mayors, at least one college president, museum partners, land trusts, parks, historical societies, cultural societies, archaeologists, historians, authors, artists, farmers, watermen. I would go on. I would really feel like everyone here at this particular moment, not to follow in Governor Moore's steps with this, but take a stand. You all did this. It was the partnership. You all. Thank you. I want you all to, at least the ones I mentioned, stand up so we can applaud you. Thank you. This is not one of those situations where you spend the day sitting, okay? On that note, I'd like to cue up the video from Senator Van Hollen.
Hi, I'm Chris Van Hollen, and I'm proud to represent our great state of Maryland in the United States Senate. And while I'm sorry I can't be with you in person, I'm grateful for the chance to provide greetings on this proud day for Southern Maryland. It took a long time and lots of hard work, but because of the dedicated efforts of so many people, we have made the vision of the Southern Maryland National Heritage Area a reality. Let me thank our partners from the Department of Interior who helped bring us to this day. And I salute our state and local officials and community leaders who worked so hard to make this happen. I know our new governor, Wes Moore, understands the importance of these federal, state, and local partnerships, and I congratulate him for getting off to such a fast start. I'm especially pleased that the tribal leadership from the Piscataway Indian Nation and the Piscataway Conoy tribe are here with us today as we showcase the story of this land, the land in which you today and your ancestors before are such a vital part. I also want to give a special thank you to a crucial force behind today's success, the heart and soul of this effort, Destination Southern Maryland's Executive Director, Lucille Walker. And I'm very proud of the work done by Federal Team Maryland to make today possible. A very special salute to my friends and partners, Senator Ben Cardin and Congressman Steny Hoyer, for taking the lead in steering this through the very choppy waters of the United States Congress. This National Heritage Area designation and the $10 million authorization is a critical first step. Now we must work together to secure the appropriations that can help support new and renovated parks, campsites, museums, and other amenities that can showcase what we all know and love about Southern Maryland to folks across the state and across our entire country. From the Ghost Fleet in Mallows Bay, to Maryland's first colonial settlement at St. Clements Island, to its tribal history, Southern Maryland is a trove of both natural and historical treasures. This designation and federal resources will enhance the experience for local residents and visitors alike as they enjoy the place where time and tide meet. And as all of us who love Southern Maryland know, no visit would be complete without enjoying our exceptional seafood and unique mom and pop shops. As folks explore the boundless offerings of this region, they will open their wallets and invest in our local economies, and then they'll bring back friends, because we know that one visit to Southern Maryland is never enough. Maryland is America in miniature, and our history, including the important history of Southern Maryland, is an important part of the American story. With this National Heritage Area designation, one of only 2 in our state, we can better weave the stories of Southern Maryland into our shared American history. It's in that spirit that I will end where I began, with gratitude for the work everyone has done to bring us to this moment. And I look forward to continue to partner with you as we chart the next leg of our collective journey. Take care.
We have another treat for you. It is my great pleasure to introduce Pastor John Tillery and the Gospel Choir to bring us their gift of song. Wow, thank you so much. All right, everyone. As we conclude, oh, there's the music. Y'all don't want to hear me sing. We want to remind you that there will be cultural programming by the Piscataway Indian Nation following the program. A very special table with historical information presented by the Piscataway Conoy tribe, and musical performance to come from David and Ginger Hildebrand. And as has been noted, since Maryland, Southern Maryland is where Maryland began, with the landing of the Ark and the Dove, the newly created 17th century Dove is here honoring that. And we want to acknowledge their efforts and the Historic St. Mary Cities Commission. Please take time to tour the Dove. It is worth it. This is also a time to look at all our partners, make sure you have refreshments, and just enjoy this beautiful day, because this is a launch. This is just the beginning. As the Assistant Secretary said, we have a lot of work ahead of us. We'll need your engagement, your ideas. We'll be reaching out with community forums, conversations. We need your voice. This is your heritage area. And when we have finished, if we ever finish, what we're looking at is not only who we are, but who we were and who we want to be. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Just a moment. We have a proclamation. As the Southern Maryland delegation, I will let Delegate Patterson speak for herself. She does it better than me.
Thank you, everyone. Listen, I just want to recognize Lucille and all the work she's done. With my colleagues from the Maryland General Assembly, please come forward, because we want to recognize her for her hard work. Members of the Maryland General Assembly, members from the Tri-County, Southern Maryland Tri-County Council, county commissioners. Am I the only one up here?
I think we all went to get food.
No. Okay. Commissioner Coates, Commissioner Patterson, Senator Ellis, others. Thank you very, very much. You know, it's really important that we give people credit for what they've done. It was no small task for what Lucille has done, and so please recognize her. It's from the Maryland General Assembly. It's an official citation, and it reads, "Be hereby known to all that sincere congratulations are offered to Southern Maryland Natural Heritage Foundation, Lucille, in recognition of efforts to preserve Southern Maryland's treasured natural and cultural resources, acknowledging the historic significance of the state of Maryland, and inviting new generations to explore and learn about our unique region, presented on this 25th day of May 2023. Of the Southern Maryland delegation, congratulations, Lucille. You certainly deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you all. We couldn't have done it without all these partners. And now go get some food, everybody, quick.
Hey, how are you? Good.
How's everything going?
She said they've got a couple people that have already.
Okay, that's great.
I just wanted, I saw your email and
I'll give you my cell phone number, so that way you can reach out to me. And I want to introduce you. This is my chief of staff, Christine. Anyway, send me your information. Love to do lunch one day. Come by my local office in Hollywood. Right, we're there Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a big table, we eat lunch. It'd be great to get to know you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Beautiful day.
I'm gonna find me some food. Okay.
Oh, wait. Mary Alice.
You were here from Oz and hanging out with you.
I didn't get a chance really to say hello. Schnozzing with
Oh, Benita, there you are. Didn't see you. I'm by the Oh, I love it. How are you? Micah, yeah, you know. Why she Wow.
Yeah, that's all. We were running late, so I didn't want to stop by. I guess we should go see the food situation. This is going
I've been working in that garden, that garden over there. We just got the path. Yeah, I saw your
for a second. This is beautiful. Have a wonderful day.
You got funding now that most watersheds will never have.
Sausage work with Maggie and there she's with the hat on.
Okay, okay. Well,
I knew you over here somewhere. Because they weren't listening. So, not really bad, just moderate.
okay, I remember that voice.
Okay, who's next? I already shared with her. I wanted her to be Agnes Page.
That was my
got permission.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I've been feeling it. Oh, it's yes. Awesome. I love it. Love it.
And did you see she has her own dog?
Oh my God.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
So when I took my picture with y'all, there was something, there was a little tag on there and it came off. Oh no! I went back and
With this breeze, probably. That's probably the tree line somewhere. Some little kid found it. You know what? The little kid found it, he's gone. They just took it home with them and they're wearing it on their fingers. Yeah.
Bye, Jack. So I've been meaning to bring it to y'all.
Oh, honey, really, I get it. The only reason I just thought of it was like, we should put that across to that for education. So,
I will buy sweetie. Next time, love.
How are you, Senator?
Are y'all doing anything? That's what you're
I'm sorry, she doesn't feel like that's hard.
I am good.
But we're having tours on site, and the theme of the tours is stories of resilience. Because we want to emphasize, yes, there's this struggle, but look at what they persevered. Look what happened here. And also because the week of June 14th, that's when the British came here during the War of 1812. And that's when Elsie and all these others. So we want to talk about those stories. So we're going to visit one of our family here. Oh, nice!
Have a great day.
to talk about what happened after they...
No, that's genius. That's awesome.
And I named the one.
Oh,
So I named her Archie Freeman.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that. Oh, we were just talking because, you know, the Cynthia is coming up. And I've been doing the webinars on prepping for that. Like, we need to do something for that. That's similar to what we did for 1812. But this time, you know, that revolution story doesn't get told.
And I keep being nice. I'm a life, and you're the procedure by all now. If he doesn't have this one, I'm gonna have him make me a shirt that says "I'll put the 50."
Thank you. Oh, there you go. There you go. I love it. And yay, you guys got married. It's so exciting. Yes, it has. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. So yeah, we'll be come up for that because I want to see that because we got some reminders that we need to always keep up that interpretation.
And that's what we're having hours on Monday. Because,
Yeah.
we don't want to compete. This is our own thing. We want to do something else like
There you go. It's not that far, really. You guys, it's just, you know, the drive here, I'm like, I could get to like, then where you make that stupid like left, and I'm like, but then you go way through somebody's street. That's where I get confused.
Going down to the end of
There you go. Is that quite the drive? Then everybody.
Well, I don't come every day. I only come about twice a week. So I'm working Saturday, so I'm here today, and I'll be here Saturday. But the rest of
Oh, good. That's good. Because that's a long drive.
Yeah.
An hour.
Exactly. Sometimes it's an hour and 11 minutes. Today I left my house at 7:36 and I pulled in and parked at 8.
This is so fantastic. I mean, it is so nice to see the Piscataway and the Piscataway really get that recognition. Yeah, it moves you, but it's a part of your ancestral story too. Site too. Yeah, it's the same thing with soccer. This is where I work. Yeah, go tell everybody hi, right? Like, good to you. No worries, no worries. like, that was great. I'm like, maybe all of the messed up stuff today. So like tomorrow is destined to be better. Yeah. It's really nice to meet you. Okay, I can do that. Okay, if they can hear on his camera. That happens often. I think she looks this.
Likewise.
What do you think about security? I don't know how to walk. Not at all. Great to see you. She deserves cake. All right.
I didn't get to finish my coffee, so I may as well get to it. Nice to see you. All right. Yeah. It's a cake. Oh no, I can't have it. Oh no. Bye.
You gotta win. You gotta pass.
I don't get it.
Okay. Zach, you made it. All right. Take care. Thanks a lot. Thank you. No, we got it. Wow, we got it. Oh, yes, we did. But it's
That's right. And I'm still down.
Are you? She'll love that.
Oh, okay. We'll have a great
I had enough of it.
Hi. I think we have. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Wear the costume.
Yeah. So it's I was here. I don't know if I like it. You need to slow down. You need to slow down. Are you telling me to slow down? Hello, how are you? You want to know who I am? I thought you were walking towards me like I know.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, the worst part of it is emails come through. You guys probably have.
I'm with you. Yeah, are you No news with you. Not yet. That'd be nice.
I lived at the sister community, Twin Oaks community.
Okay,
yeah.
you were there. Okay.
Yeah, I just left in this.
Oh, wow.
Yes.